first inter-county match since September 1991. Yorkshire beat Lancashire 17-12 here, and the Yorkshire coach Lee Crooks was prop on that occasion. It's the Origin game though in 2001. Yorkshire taking on Lancashire, and Lee Crooks is in there with his players. And as you heard David Waite say in our pre-match build-up, the Great Britain coach, all about finding out who are the smart game players on show here tonight, with places in that Ashes series very much up for grabs. Yorkshire then, they have Darryl Cardis at fullback, Leon Price, Chev Walker, Keith Senior, David Hodgson, the three-quarters. It's Danny Orr and Tony Smith. The forwards, Brian McDermott, James Lowe, Stuart Fielden, Jamie Peacock, Lee Radford, Lee Gilmore. They are all of Bradford Bulls, so there's plenty of club loyalty there. And on the bench, Francis Cummins, who got a late call, Francis Maloney, Darren Fleary, Paul King and Paul Anderson. 5 subs tonight, maximum of 12 substitutions for the coaches, not including the blood bins. Now the men of Bredrose, County Lancashire. Radlinski is the fullback. Paul Wellens, Paul Johnson, Gary Connolly and Dominic Peters. Lee Breers and Paul Deacon. What an opportunity for those two, with Harris and Sean Long out of this match injured. Terry O'Connor, Kieran Cunningham, Barry McDermott the front row, Chris Joynt, Paul Sculthorpe of St Helens in the second row, and Andy Farrell is the Lancashire captain. And the substitutes here, Neil Turley of Lee Centurions, the only NFP player in this Origin game, Terry Newton, Kevin Sinfield, Tim Yonkers, Andy Coley, and the coaches, Andy Gregory. Lancashire in red, of course. Andy Gregory, 5 consecutive beaten Lancashire sides against Yorkshire from 1985 to 1989. These are the records as we look through the stats. And way back at the start of the last century, 18,000 turned out. These are great names of the past. It's all about, though, now, the great names of the present. And the prospect for these players of pulling on a Great Britain jersey at the end of this year. Yorkshire then prepare to emerge. Their biggest victory not too long ago. Their biggest home victory, though, when Steve-O was a lad. 15,000 at Wakefield. The great Mick Sullivan and John Atkinson and Neil Fox. There is no bigger name in the game still than Neil Fox. So the players have emerged, and the South Stand bathed in sunshine this evening. Match referee is Robert Connolly. He was in action at Knowsley Road on Saturday night. He took charge of a classic then. Let's hope these top players from the Super League give us something to savour here. It's Yorkshire against Lancashire, the Origin game of 2001.
Well, we just heard the national anthem, and I'm sure that the strains of that song and the tune would be still in the minds of these players. Many of them, of course, seasoned Great Britain internationals already. But there's a sprinkling of youngsters who have yet to make that status in their life. Big opportunity for Lee Crooks there as well. He knows how important it is. So often in the past, Lancashire have been criticised for not taking it serious. Believe you me, they will tonight. This will be a real battle.
Yes, well, Lee Crooks, a Leeds captain in the 80s, hoping for his first victory since February the 22nd. Going through the horrors with the York Wasps this year, 15 consecutive defeats. We're underway in the Origin, and let's see what these players really are made of. First big hit of the match on Lee Radford of Yorkshire. And you can expect a pretty fierce battle up front to begin with. Darryl Cardis trying to duck under the challenges, and Gary Connolly getting to him.
Good move there by Cardis to get himself involved in the game. Often the fullbacks, they're very slow to touch the football. That was a crafty move by Cardis to get involved early. And it is so important to get a big hit in, and that's what Lancashire, they're doing it now.
Jamie Peacock to his feet, plays the ball to James Lowes, looks left and finds Lee Radford. Radford drives it to the 40-metre line, looking for the kicker, Tony Smith, who scored a hat-trick at the weekend for Hull. And the ball is claimed over on that far side by Paul Wellens of St Helens. He gives it to Radlinsky. Radlinsky then to Dominic Peters of the London Broncos. And he could have chosen either side. Lancashire, though, decided that he was the man for them on the wing. And so Dom Peters is in. He's London's only representative in this.
Well, the kick from Tony Smith surprised me. I thought the tactics would be, you can see how the lengthening shadows there. Andy Gregory, the Lancashire coach, he knows that he could be up against it because this sun is dipping. It's right into his players' eyes. And it surprised me that Tony Smith opted for a low kick rather than a high one.
Deakin hands the ball on to McDermott.
Hit time.
McDermott was greeted by Stuart Fielden. We said that would be one of the big clashes of the night. Farrell on the 40-metre line. He gets the kick in. Cardis is coming across to pick this up. Cardis gets it, Hodgson waits, but Briers and Deakin in there very quickly with a tackle.
Crafty kick there by Farrell. Other people perhaps thought he'd be going for a 40-20, but he just overstepped the 40, changed his mind midstream, made sure that Cardis turned around. So important to try to run Yorkshire off their feet.
That's the two McDermotts, Barry in the red of Lancashire, Brian in the white of Yorkshire. Tony Smith now. Back it goes then to Fielden, and Barry McDermott and Terry O'Connor get to him. Lowes could play the ball from the Yorkshire side. Gilmore up the middle. He's got support behind him. It's arrived from Lowes.
No second phase, but good work from Gilmore.
Last tackle here. Smith with a little dink over the top to the corner. Tester for Dominic Peters. Price is after him. Price gets to him.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Dominic Peters, not a great deal of experience and not much match play this year. They will pinpoint this fella, and rightly so.
Well, he managed to cope with that first kick at him. It wasn't one coming out of the sunshine, though. It was bouncing, and so maybe it was a little easier. Now here is Sculpor, who had a magnificent game on Saturday night for the Saints. Behind him, another candidate, I think, for man of the match that night, Cunningham. Oh, and there's the mistake from Joint.
Well, a carbon copy is what he did for St Helens on Saturday. He came up with the first mistake, and from it, Bradford scored. The result went Joint's way in the end. And you could see there, he just had a little bit of a look. It shows you the amount of pressure that's out there. Even though Joint has been around quite some time, it can still get to you in the early stages.
Smith gives the ball to Lee Gilmore. Gilmore is cut down by a good tackle from Radlinsky, and Briers was there as well. And here is James Lowes. Lowes attacking the line. Joint got to him. Deakin was there as well. Lowes to his feet. Chev Walker. The drive in here is from Peacock again. And the Bradford man getting Yorkshire to within 6-7 metres of the line.
Watch the blind side.
Lowes. Good hands. Chances here. First try for Fielden. Stuart Fielden gets the first Yorkshire try. David Topless, the Yorkshire manager, a little quiet word in the ear of his coach, Lee Brooks. Great start for them. Great start for Fielden. Great start for Yorkshire.
They built cleverly there. It was a mistake from Joint. They say a carbon copy, and from the resulting scrum they got into the position, and it's good work. He used a big drop forward, McDermott, and then he offloaded. Good work by Peacock to set them into it and field it there. That is a real boost for the White Rose. They wanted a quick start, and they certainly got it.
Well, Stuart Fielden has been a substitute in all 13 in Super League this year for the Bradford Bulls. He was absolutely outstanding for England in the World Cup. And Stuart Fielden has given Yorkshire a flying start. Problems for Andy Gregory, who has got the very same red rose that Mr. Clark has. And Lee Crooks has been down to the dugout, and he's obviously passed a message on. And now he goes back to the front row of the director's box to take a view here at Danny Orr. Great form this year in a struggling Castleford side. Attempting to get on with life after the loss of his coach Stuart Raper under new head coach Graham Stedman at the Jungle. This is from the World Cup last year as well. This is a great opportunity for him, and he's added the extras. Yorkshire 6, Lancashire 0.
See quite clearly that Barry McDermott wanted to put a big hit on his opposite, Brian McDermott, sucked in with the gap, and it's a soft try in the end for Fielden. No way in the world the fullback's going to stop this guy. But it was no doubt in my mind that Barry McDermott was shaping up to put a big hit on the Bradford prop forward, and Brian McDermott just shifted the ball out to his left.
Big mistake from Chris Joint though, just as it was on Saturday, as you rightly said. Knock on, and the scrum leading to the first Bradford try, but then it all went A-OK for St Helens. Will it do for Lancashire here tonight? Lowe's gets the pass away. Brian McDermott tackled by Sculthorpe low down. Breers was there as well. Breers looking busy as well around the ruck area so far tonight. Of course, a huge opportunity also for Lee Breers to catch David Waite's eye after his wonderful performance for Wales against the Aussies in the World Cup semi-final. That's a good run though from Tony Smith, just inside his own half. Lowe's gets them into Lancashire territory. Good hands from Yorkshire here. Cardis all to the ground by Connolly.
Well, if Lancashire don't get the defence sorted out quickly, they're going to be in danger of conceding yet another try. It's a high one into the sun.
It's a cracking kick, and Radlinski has dropped it. Bradford has picked it up, and this is another golden opportunity for Yorkshire.
Well, that was the first high kick they put to it. They've come up with a mistake.
Brian McDermott driving it in towards the posts, and Terry O'Connor, and also Cunningham was there. It's Danny Orr. Danny Orr, so close for Yorkshire again.
Good low tackle from Radlinski. It had to be. That try written all over it.
Here's Brian McDermott once more, dumps the ball back on the bounce. It's with Fielden, the try scorer. Fielden taking on Breers, and Breers just managing to haul him down. They're about a half metre away, Yorkshire. The drive comes in, it's Radford. Lancashire's defence standing firm again. Lowe's spins the ball, Tony Smith. Back it goes to McDermott again, the big men driving in all the time. Loose pass, but it's still with Yorkshire.
Good tactics from Yorkshire as well. The big fella's twisting in the tackle, offloading.
Lowe's away from one, trying to get the ball away. It's still alive. Cardis, he's away from Connolly, still going Cardis, and Lancashire eventually hauling to ground for the Lancashire defence, and Sean Long on the bench. Watching, of course, out of this match, out of the rest of the season, Sean Long. Well, what they have done with Long and Harris out there.
Well, we'll have to see as this game progresses, Eddie, but at the moment it's all Yorkshire, and their tactics are absolutely spot on.
This is Paul Johnson, though. Good run from Johnson, a relieving run from the Lancashire line.
Well, we all know the qualities of Lee Crooks when he was a player. One of the greatest offloaders in the game, and he certainly passed on that knowledge to his players. Play on, that's good refereeing. There was interference. It was 50-50 both sides. Well done, Robert Connolly. Doesn't want to be blowing all night, wants to see open rugby league football.
Lancashire having to do a lot more work in the tackling, and here is Connolly. First time they have shone on attack. 8.5 minutes gone, 41 tackles from Lancashire. That's the reason why Yorkshire having so much of the football, and they've got it back again here now in the shape of Leon Price. The chase has arrived though from Lancashire. Joint leading the way, he missed him, Farrell didn't, neither did Johnson.
Good angle kick there, but good work from Price. Never looked as though he was going to offload, took the safety first. As Yorkshire, they feel pretty confident. The reason why they picked this fella playing the ball, Darryl Cardis, is that his amazing percentage of bringing the ball back from deep into his own quarter.
Good tackle there by Sculthorpe on Radford. Peacock driving it in. Lowe's gets the ball away. Gilmore keeps the movement going. It's Lowe's again. Lowe's taking on O'Connor and Sculthorpe.
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing. Lee Gilmore makes it quite obvious that he likes to play in the centres. Well, I'll tell you what, he's got himself involved in the game, playing it loose forward so far.
There's a high kick here, and Dominic Peters has dropped in. Oh, it's a gift. An absolute gift for Tony Smith. What a blunder from Dominic Peters. Swooped on the loose ball and touched down under the sticks. Well, let's be kind to Peters. The sun is hanging very, very low, but I'm afraid that was a glaring error.
Sure was. The first two kicks from Yorkshire, they were low. It shouldn't have been, because you can see how the sun is. They are lengthening shadows, and it was a huge kick up from Smith. They were all onside, and it was always going to be a problem. We always knew that they were going to pick this young fella out, Dominic Peters. Very little experience, but Tony Smith has plenty of that. He poaches that one, but put that down to good tactics. Kicking in, right into the corner, make sure that the sun's in his eyes. It's always going to be difficult. They shielded him well. It was a plain mistake. And poor old Dominic will not want to see that again. But what a great boot, yet again, for the White Rose of Yorkshire.
Yes, Tony Smith with a try, adding to his hat-trick in Hull's win at Salford on Sunday. He's now managed hat-tricks, by the way, for all three clubs he's played. Castleford, Wigan and Hull. Danny Orr has added the extra two from bang in front, and Yorkshire ahead by 12 points to 0. Well, this is the corner that Dominic Peters is defending. You can see how difficult it is to see through those rays of sunshine. But young Dom Peters, he couldn't have wished for a worse start.
Well, there's plenty of time to go, and let's just hope that he settles down. I'm sure the message will go out from Andy Gregory. Just don't worry about it, get on with the game. But I did mention it was a great toss to win.
Yes, that sun will dip down as this evening progresses, and Yorkshire will try and take full use of it in this first half. Here is Fielden, straight into Farrell and O'Connor. The Wigan combination bringing the Bradford man down. Lowe's dummy half, Tony Smith. Yorkshire looking the more likely at the moment. Good run here from Lee Radford and from Jamie Peacock. And look at Chris Radlinski. He's shielding his eyes from the sunshine as well. And the organisers have got the night they wanted, Steve, or the players haven't. Senior, first chance for him to run.
It's only going to be a problem for Lancashire, because by the time it gets to the second half, the sun will have dipped and gone.
Senior has knocked on.
Bad mistake there. Not so sure that Connolly wasn't fiddling around with that football. That could have been play on.
Well,
Hodgson picked it up.
That is a dreadful Yorkshire bias, if you don't mind me saying so.
Oh, so the Lancashire man didn't have fingers on the ball.
No chance at all. Well, that's a neutral's view. I'm the Cheshire cat tonight, grinning all over the place. What say you, Phil Clark? You're the Lancastrian. It was right in front of you.
You got the right decision. No, right decision, and about time we needed some ball, actually. Yorkshire made a fantastic start. Lee Crook seems to have got them to come out firing well, offloading so well, but a chance there with Lancashire in possession, and they're doing likewise, offloading to Cunningham. Looks like we're in for a real thriller.
Yes, Lancashire need the football. They've got it here. And it's a good run from Sculthorpe.
Well, it was always going to be an advantage to the Yorkshire side, having all their entire pack from one club. We said it might take Lancashire a little bit of time to settle in the forwards. Oh, that was forward, but that'll be play on.
Stopped anyway by Joint. No advantage of the referee, so play on. Fielden manages to offload. Lowe's gets the ball away to Cardis. And Cardis takes the tackle.
Far too many mistakes. He had someone in his face. Not easy. If that's the case, then it shouldn't have been offloaded.
That's one.
It's a bit of a problem now for Lancashire. They've got to sort themselves out. Well, that was about a half a metre forward there.
I'm glad you saw that. This is 14 minutes on the watch.
I'm not biased. And how you can call yourself Cheshire Cat when you're a scout. You were born in Liverpool.
Live now, though. You know where. Smith. Chip over the top.
20, is it?
No, it isn't, because it's picked up by Paul Wellens. And he flicks the ball inside to Chris Radlinski. Radlinski, it was a good chase though by Yorkshire. Jamie Peacock in with the tackle on the Wigan fullback. Now then, Joint trying to make amends again for that early mistake, which gifted Yorkshire the first try. Second try gifted by a mistake by Dominic Peters.
Good thinking there by Chris Joint as well. He knows he's dropped the ball on 2 occasions, so the best way to get into this game is go looking for work, and he will certainly do that.
Play on, says the referee. Radlinski. Here's Farrell. Angle run from Johnson, and Johnson is away, and Johnson ducks under the tackle. He's got Radlinski in support. Lancashire so badly needed.
They went far too high on Paul Johnson. Let's not take anything away from his effort. He ducked underneath. Connor set it up. And he offloaded, not the best pass, but once Fredlinski set this fella away. Look at that, he came back on the angle, went far too high. Then have him again underneath. Lowe should have gone for the legs. Back on the inside. Good support play. Full credit to Hodgson, he came across, but there was just too many there. The offload. Going to make him look, and they certainly did that. Farrell back on the inside to his teammate. But this is a wonderful effort, isn't it? Not the best effort in defence. Kept his cool back on the inside. He just drew Daniel Cardiff. The Red Rose, they're in. Back in the game.
Very much so, and the Andy Farrell's conversion from bang in front. No problems there, so it's 12 points to 6 now in Yorkshire's favour. Paul Deacon, a member of that England World Cup squad, replacing Sean Long. Unlucky to miss out originally, to be fair. Impressive in the World Cup. Oh dear, that sun is causing all sorts of problems.
The tactics are right. Obviously the first two kicks, as I mentioned, they were being put down low. Lee Crooks obviously got the message out and say, hey, come on fellas. The current bun is not shining in their face just for the fun of it.
You notice Lee Crooks made a quick dash down to the dugout, and that was obviously the message that he got down and got out.
He's been around long enough.
Stay behind, guys! Stay behind! As you say, a very good toss for Yorkshire to win this.
The one thing that Lee Crooks will also get in the message for is say, hey, come on fellas, you've got to tackle low. Don't just go high and try to pinch the ball. Smother tackling's all right, but when you've got the likes of Paul Johnson, who I must say, he must be really buzzing. He's got to be up there somewhere with a chance for international honours soon.
Yorkshire in possession with Smith. Now here is Fielden. Fielden brought down by a combination of Barry McDermott and Kieran Cunningham.
Would have been penalised there, McDermott.
Lowe's, it goes left. Oh, Danny Orr, drop the shoulder. Forward, surely, no. Referee was right on the spot. And he's going to give the try.
I think Orr had enough body angle to spin the ball backwards. But that was excellent, wasn't it? That was a super break, coming running onto it. Problems for Andy Gregory.
Doesn't look too impressed, I must say. From this angle up here, it looked forward. But the referee, Robert Connolly, to his credit, was bang in line.
Well, a bit dubious after watching it again. I thought maybe Danny Orr's body language would just help matters. But look at the step there. Sculthorpe was completely beaten. This Lancashire defence needs to be straightened up very quickly. Cunningham got to him, and that looks all right from that angle. That's the reason, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, why we do not go to the screen for forward passes, because different angles tells different tales.
Absolutely. Keith Senior won't be complaining. And Danny Orr, well, he's grabbing his opportunity here with two hands, isn't he? Lovely little run to set that try up. And what's more, he has added 2 more points to the Yorkshire total. The 12-point advantage is restored. It's 18-6. It's got all the makings of a try-fest, this.
Well, it's dry conditions, fast track, beautiful weather if you're watching. Bad sunlight for the Red Rose mob. So the hot pots have got plenty to do.
6 tries in his last 6 in Super League for Keith Senior, and he's marked this origin of 2001 with a try. Oh, and Farrell's kicked it out in the full.
That's rather surprised me that he's actually kicked that way, because he would have been tilting his body into the sun as well. Now the way penalty to Yorkshire. It is taking Lancashire quite some time to settle into the swing of things. Remember, both sides haven't had a great deal of training time together, limited in that department.
Great opportunity here for Salford's Andy Coley now. He's on for Barry McDermott. midway through this first half, and Yorkshire with a 12-point advantage over the men from Lancashire.
Coley won't let them down, that is for sure. He works overtime. Big, strong lad.
There he is. Now then, it's an angle run from Jamie Peacock. And Lancashire really are having...
Oh, he's lost that.
I was going to say
Scothorpe's come up with it.
Having an awful time trying to get these Yorkshire forwards to ground.
Well, offloading, twisting in the tackle, a la what St Helens did in the first half against Bradford. This is what we want to see, more of this.
Cunningham.
He's the guy that can set them on the road.
He can lead by example, but you know, before this match, Lancashire were firm favourites, certainly with the bookies they were. They were offering a 5-point start for Yorkshire.
Well, there's an old saying, Eddie, if you can have a favourite in a horse, but if you leave it in the stable, it's got no chance to win, and that's where Lancashire are at the moment. They really have not gone into the swing of things. Far too many missed tackles, far too many mistakes.
It's a bit of tackle on Lee Radford. It was Andy Coley who made that mistake for Lancashire. This is Darren Fleary now. Great Britain international, England international, of course, in the World Cup. Darren Fleary of Leeds on home turf. James Lowes, Paul Anderson on the charge. And just like he has done this year for Bradford, Anderson on with 20 minutes of the match gone. That's a great tackle, though, by Farrell on his opposite number, Lee Gilmore.
Thought Gilmore lost that.
Oh, Chev Walker's lost it.
Bring it back.
Well, Lancashire were appealing for a knock-on against Gilmore, but the referee, as you can hear in the background, said he lost it before it touched the ground, but Chev Walker didn't. He lost it and caught it, rather, before it touched the ground.
It amazes me that players at this quality still take their eyes off the football. You could see there that Chev Walker was having a little squint and Paul Johnson coming towards him.
Kevin Sinfield has come on. You probably noticed him there packing down in the scrum for Chris Joint. Remember, 5 substitutes on the bench, 12 changes can be made, and that doesn't include the blood bins.
That's a good move by Andy Gregory, the Lancashire coach. He knows that he needs someone out there to start controlling things. One would have expected, of course, that Paul Sculthorpe would have done that. It has not transpired, so he sends out the local boy, Kevin Sinfield. Maybe he can inspire them.
Yes, he's on the opposite side of the fence for the majority of the supporters in Headingley tonight, though, even though he's on home soil. Amazing, behind the post that Lancashire are defending, there are St Helens and Wigan supporters standing toe-to-toe and cheering Lancashire on. It doesn't happen often that Saints and Wigan fans are arm-in-arm on the terraces.
That's the beauty about our game.
Hodgson.
Much better defence there. And it looks as though Sinfield really has some injection into this defensive pattern, and they need it.
Well, that was Anderson renewing his acquaintance with Paul Sculthorpe after Saturday. Here's Lowes. Now it's to Lee Radford again. Tony Smith, and the drive in from Peacock.
Simple basic game plan, they've got it all sorted out. Obviously they'll be kicking to this fella again, should I say. No.
Danny Orr, little shot.
Oh, was he taken or was he academy?
Well,
I think it was academy time.
The referee says he's academy, but the fact that Orr is riding round on the floor says otherwise.
Well, it certainly was a shoulder, and did he move? That's what they're going to try to find out from Terry O'Connor. I'm not so sure that, Orr went down as though he'd been shot by an elephant gun. Oh, that's academy time. I think, if anything, Danny Orr has hurt himself doing the dramatic dive. Not the impact, I'm sure of that.
Huge night here for Neil Turley, has come on to replace Dominic Peters, who's gone off. He's injured apparently. Turley of the Lee Centurions, 45 tries this year for Turley. He's had a wow of a season in the Northern Fort Premiership. There he is, the only representative in this Origin match. Deacon with the high kick. Chance here. Oh, that's bounced kindly. Breers flicks it back.
Offside.
No, it came off a Yorkshire man. think Lancashire are claiming it. It's a video referee's decision. I think it was flicked back by Yorkshire.
Don't forget about Yorkshire footy. This is patty cake time. It looked more like basketball, didn't it? It was checking. A great kick.
I think he's happy with the way it's come about. He's just checking for offside of the kick now.
Well, Deacon got a high punt to it. They appear to be onside there. Now then, Wellens was he?
Oh, they're all on.
Yeah, they're all on. Now they want to go and have a look at all this melee. That's play on. That's play on. And does it come off Breers? Yeah, he gets it back, so that's fine. And as you say, Eddie,
off a Yorkshireman to Wellens.
And he'll score.
No, he traps it. And who scores?
It's Sculthorpe.
I think Sculthorpe's going to get a hand, or is it Deacon again? Deacon,
Sculthorpe missed it.
Permanently 1 from 3, but I think this is going to be a try.
Oh, will he see whether it was grounded properly? I don't think he's too happy. No, he's going to be TRY.
Deacon gets the try, his second. Paul Deacon of the Bradford Bulls can't get a start for Brian Noble's team. But, boy, 2 tries here for Lancashire. Puts them back in.
He starts it and eventually finishes it. Well, this was a comedy of errors at times. They tried to knock him out. That's what Danny Orr was trying to do, knock it dead in goal. But Paul Wellens had positioned himself. It's like the old cricket stumper.
Yeah, Wellens was loitering with intent.
Yeah, well, I'm hanging around here. Breers did well. Danny Orr, he could pick about 65 metres across the back there, and he picked out one fella, Paul Wellens. The result, 4. Will it be 6?
Andy Farrell with the conversion attempt. He's missed it off the outside of the post. 18-10 it stays.
Well, he feels a little bit better after that. He always liked to be down by the sidelines, did Andy Gregory. A few occasions he wasn't allowed to.
It's outside, guys.
He's a fiery character, and I'm sure he'll have plenty to stay at half-time, and so will Lee Crooks, though. I suppose of the 2 coaches, I think Lee Crooks will be a little bit more happy.
Andy Coley driving this forward for Lancashire again. A low kick-off from Yorkshire after all the mayhem they'd caused with ball in the air. Let's go down to the side again and hear the Lancashire viewpoint from Phil. You a bit happier, Phil?
Well, only marginally, though. It's simply because Yorkshire have had most of the possession, really, that they're in the dominant position they are. Hopefully if Lancashire can hang on to some possession. They've really coughed it up too many times on the first tackle, plus the fact that Yorkshire have been very, very good in attack, but now, ball in hand, let's see what we can do.
And here's an opportunity for Sinfield. He's got Turley behind him. Here's Turley. It was a great ball. And Neil Turley has got Radlinski. And that's wonderful stuff. Radlinski's got the legs this time. Radlinski's going in for the next Lancashire try. And Radlinski touches down behind the post. Neil Turley following him up, just in case there was any need. But Radlinski outstripped the defender, Jamie Peacock. And Lancashire have hit them with 2 tries in 2 minutes. There's Saints and Wigan supporters unified tonight under the banner of Lancashire. And Steve-O's gone a bit quiet.
Well, it was wonderful play, wasn't it? Keeping the ball alive. Great work there from Sinfield, and Turley did ever so well. Came back in off the wing, back on the inside, as all fullbacks should do. Radlinski, he read the plot superbly. Tony Smith went out of the line and put the pressure on Farrell. He didn't get it. There you see. That enables the skipper to offload. Beautiful work here. Sinfield pass. And Turley, the man who knows his way to the try line, that's for sure. But Linsky didn't need him. Oh, they'll be happy. And rightly so. That was superb try.
Andy Farrell making his 300th career appearance tonight adds the extra 2, and the gap is closed to 2. Chris Radlinski's try, Farrell goal, a real Wigan 1-2 for Lancashire, and alongside Mike Ford, his assistant, Mike Ford of Oldham. Andy Gregory looks a little bit happier now than he was about 5 minutes ago. It's 18-16.
Lee Crooks won't be too happy with the fact that the halfback Tony Smith was expecting a kick. He put the pressure on but couldn't get the tackle away. Farrell was able to offload. It really has been a story of that when one side makes a mistake, normally the opposition goes in for the try.
Well, Lancashire to the pace of this match now, are they? O'Connor taking on Gilmore. Fleary is there as well. It takes 4 in the end to bring him down. Maloney is on for Yorkshire. You saw there, number 15. Sculthorpe to Deacon. Farrell was the decoy runner. A good job that they got a little ankle tap on him, Jamie Peacock.
Well, there's little doubt in my mind, Eddie, that
here's a chance for Johnson. He's got Sculthorpe inside him, and Lancashire take the lead. Suddenly Lancashire turned this game around. Suddenly Lancashire have had some possession, and they're getting to the try line with ease. Sculthorpe gives them the lead, and Lancashire have a slight edge.
Well, I was just trying to make the point that Andy Gregory, there he is on the sidelines, when he brought on Sinfield to inject a little bit more to it. Oh, wonderful work from Johnson again, kept his cool. Nothing the Cardis could do about that. And Sculthorpe, who is in absolutely sensational form. But this is a wonderful effort. You see how he came on the arc, had the speed. No way that Price could get to him. And the Red Rose, well, they've taken the lead, and rightly so, with a try of sheer quality.
Scored by a young man who has never played better than he is at the moment. 2 tries and 5 goals in each of his last 2. Andy Farrell to add 2 more points, and he does with the left boot. It's 18 points to 22 here at Headingley to the Red Rose County. Bill Clark's got a smile on his face.
Well, what we've done, we've adopted St Helens game plan. Really let them get in front, let them get excited, and then come back and show their skills. Fantastic cut-out ball from Paul Sculthorpe. Paul Johnson hits the hole very well, draws the full-back and ball back inside. Menton Sculthorpe had started slowly, he's kicked into gear well now.
Yes, Sculthorpe's try, Farrell's goal, and the game has turned on its head. The favourites are ahead, and they have scored 3 tries in 5 minutes.
Well, full credit to Andy Gregory. He knew that they had a bit of a problem, knew that some of his players were not getting low in the tackle, and cut out the error count, and you got him with a chance. But the introduction of Kevin Sinfield has been the major factor.
Farrell, hole up the middle, does brilliantly to get the ball off the ground to Radlinski. Yorkshire have got a bit of a job on here to stop this Lancashire roll. And here they come again with Sculthorpe. It goes wide to Connolly. Connolly manages to stay within the field of play. Terry Newton's at dummy half. And here's Farrell again. Little dummy to Deacon. Lee Crooks has got a few problems. Peter Rowe, his assistant, just in front of him. Now then, Sculthorpe with a dab to the corner to invite Wellens for the chase. And Hodgson was taking no chances. You could hear the St Helens fullback, scrum half or winger pounding the turf behind him. And Andy Gregory is suddenly very, very bubbly.
All the all-round skills of this fella, Paul Sculthorpe, over the last 2 seasons, he has been improving all the time. We saw a masterly display from him on last Saturday when he took over the role of controlling things out on the paddock for St Helens. He's now getting into that role.
And here's young Tim Yonkers of St Helens, who was rightly named the man of the match on Saturday night, although Paul Sculthorpe ran him very, very close indeed. Coley takes it on. Good backing up from Newton. Here is Deacon. It's Connolly. Connolly back to Yonkers. Back it goes to Radlinski. They're trying down the left-hand side now. McDermott driving the ball in at Gilmore. Flicks the pass back to Newton. This is good stuff from Lancashire all of a sudden. Johnson keeping the ball alive brilliantly. Sinfield. Turley. Turley shows us what he can do. What a try! What a try from Neil Turley! 45 tries in the Northern Ford Premiership. He has blitzed the old world record of Paul Charlton for a fullback this year, and that will be one of his sweetest moments of 2001. A try in the Origin game for Lancashire, and in the last, 9 minutes, this game's gone upside down. Yorkshire begin the inquest.
The confidence is running through the Lancashire side now. They are confident to keep this ball alive. And when I say keep it alive, didn't they just do that? Excellent work. Coley offloads, then back on the inside. They would never give in. Oh, it was superb play. Back again, Radlinski, and then the big fella. Oh, McDermott offloads. They just want to keep it alive. Johnson says, you take it. Back on the inside, Sinfield. He knows how to score, this guy, as Eddie has just mentioned. This is an outstanding team try. Keep it alive and you may be rewarded. They've hit the pot of goal here. Swing it. Back on the inside. Look at that again. That second effort. Look at the step. Oh, he just stood them up so easy.
Great try. It deserves the extras to be added. And Farrell has done exactly that. 28 points to 18. Lancashire have come alive in the last 10 minutes. And Neil Turley, what a season he has had. He has only played in 3 games this year in which he has failed to score. 45 tries for his club. Lee Crooks, it's all gone pear-shaped.
Well, it's sadness for Lee Crooks, but I can assure you that David Waite was the instigator behind this return to the fixture of Lancashire and Yorkshire to prepare Great Britain for the Ashes series. He'll be happy with this guy. The selection, quite a few raised eyebrows when young Turley was selected. But 11 passes in that combination there. They don't come much better than that.
No, that was a fantastic try, and it's opened up a 10-point gap. And here is Tim Yonkers. Another change by Yorkshire to try and stem the tide, and Lancashire running hot at the moment.
Well, I think Lee Crooks would have got the message out, so look, let's just slow things down a bit. They've got the roll, and it's not easy to stop. There's David Waite. He must have seen quite a few players out there who'll be very, very happy. Totally not happy.
Appealing for the penalty for stealing after the tackle was complete. But
he just lost it on the knee. They soon learn, don't they? At top level. Appeal to the man in the middle, unsuccessful.
Francis Maloney in possession, sensational form, 12 tries, jointly leads the chart in Super League with Chris Radlinski. This now is Chev Walker. The Leeds youngster's been a little quiet in the first half. Good tackle on him by Paul Johnson.
Was it ever? That was a real shoulder charge.
Here's Jamie Peacock, sensational for England in the World Cup.
It's getting a bit tasty out there. A little bit more lively into the tackle.
Tony Smith offloads. Anderson. Great support from Cleary.
Just went off balance there. Radlinski just got a shoulder to him.
Tony Smith goes wide again. Maloney.
Good sliding defence there. They came in on the angle.
Last one here for Yorkshire. They're 12 metres away. They look for Tony Smith. Smith dabs it towards the in-goal area, and Radlinski clears up. No knock on. James Lowes appeals to the referee and argues.
And there looked to be a bit of a wobble. And there was a wobble.
He again said the ball never touched the ground. That's twice he's made that call, Robert Connolly.
Watch your fist.
I must say we've seen some sensational rugby league football. And I have to have a big pat on the back for Robert Connolly. The way that he's handled this, he knows that how important it is, but he also knows that a lot of people mistake there from McDermott, but he also knows how important it is that the crowd get value for money, and he's certainly letting the game flow.
Indeed so. Yorkshire in possession then. Can they get something here as we approach half-time?
They need it. They've got to go in with a score.
Lowes gets it away to Maloney. Ooh, that was a great tackle. Super tackle from Coley. Lowes again. Tony Smith, Anderson's the runner.
No second phase.
Smith bounced off one, gives it to Gilmore. Gilmore will run flat. Now he'll straighten it up, away from Coley. Coley back for a second snap at him with Gary Connolly.
Well, if Tony Smith runs across like that, he had Anderson outside, but you've got to have the second phase to help him.
Here's Anderson. He offloads. It goes to nobody. Collected, though, by Gilmore it was, and he finds Tony Smith. Oh, big collision with Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe's hurt. St Helens fans' hearts will be missing a beat. Gets to his feet groggily, does Paul Sculthorpe. Charging onto the football there was Jamie Peacock. Sculthorpe's in Disneyland. Lowe's dabbed it in goal. Try!
Great effort.
Great try from Jimmy Lowe's. Terrific try. Sculthorpe out of the defensive line. And James Lowe's took full advantage. 4 years here at Leeds. The 1997 Man of Steel just stabbed the ball behind the Lancashire defence and was first to react.
They were very slow on the defensive line and he took full advantage. That's quick thinking from the Yorkshire skipper. That is a fine try. He knows how important it is. You see how he looked towards the angle, but the kick he knew was going back. Oh, that was clever play. They thought it was going to go out to the left, but it didn't. It was a short stab through. The eyes said it all. It definitely deceived Barry McDermott, and James Lowe's has put Yorkshire well and truly back into this game and put a smile on my dial.
Francis Maloney has taken the kicking responsibility. Meanwhile, just behind Maloney, there is the very sad sight of Paul Sculthorpe being led from the field, and just wondering from up here whether it's a jaw injury again. Maloney has added the extras. 24 points to 28, Lancashire lead. But maybe the big news of the night is Paul Sculthorpe. Now, he injured his jaw. In fact, he broke the jaw earlier in the season against Wigan in the Challenge Cup. And everybody at St Helens will be holding their breath, hoping that Sculthorpe hasn't done some damage again. Bill Arthur, I know, will be checking on that during the course of the half-time. It looked as though he might be all right. The jaw was moving, let's hope so. But what terrific entertainment here in the Origin game. Yorkshire 24, they raced into an early lead. Lancashire pegged them back, and Yorkshire have chipped away at that lead, and they got back within 4 at half-time. Rich entertainment for the crowd at Headingley. The Red Rose 28, the White Rose 24, but no rose withering on the vine just yet.
Tonight on Fox Sports News, Geelong and Hawthorn have fought out a thriller at Colonial. The Cats getting up by just 3 points. Queensland State of Origin coach Wayne Bennett has concerns that New South Wales will use strong-arm tactics against his players in Game 2 tomorrow night. The Lions have opened up their Australian tour with a tri-fest against WA. Queenslander Adam Scott holds a one-shot lead at the halfway mark of the British Golf Open. The Lakers have bounced back to take Game 2 of the NBA final playoffs against Philadelphia, and Ali and Frazier slug it out for 8 rounds. Get the complete picture tonight on Fox Sports News at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
You've never seen anything like this before, or will again. Simply the best chance for league legends from the past 20 years to settle old scores. It'll be a fascinating night of football and fun as greats like Lewis, Daly, Gilmeister and Lazarus return in the ultimate mate against mate, state against state showdown with a difference. Don't miss the tip-top high-five legends of league. Live from Leichhardt Oval, tonight only on Fox Sports 2.
When it comes to finding a hoses and fittings company you can count on, it's a jungle out there, unless you call NZ. Nobody tames problems like we do.
Big League. It's Rugby League's Bible, available every week of the season. More than a magazine, Big League comes with a lift-out match day program with all the teams for all the games. Plus, every statistic you need to know for your tipping comp or that bet. It's packed full of feature articles by League's most experienced writers. Plus, Laurie Daly's column. And the most brilliant photos in the game. On the box or at the ground, The game's not the same without Big League. Monday morning on Fox Sports 2.
Green is out.
Buckle up as the good old boys fire up the V8 for the Kmart 400. Raw power. Pure muscle.
Big trouble. Right behind them. A horrible crash on the back straightaway.
Live and exclusive. The Kmart 400 Monday morning 2:30. Fox Sports 2.
Half-time in the Origin, and it's 24 points to 28, and the crowd here being royally entertained by these two sets of players. Couldn't have asked for much more than this. The Yorkshire side racing into a lead, Lancashire appearing after about 20 minutes or so to get to the pace of the game, scoring some quick tries, getting their way back into the match. But it's the Yorkshire dressing room that has to plot the second half and come from behind. Andy Gregory was fairly subdued, wasn't he, early on, but boy was he bouncing up and down that touchline when Lancashire had their purple patch midway through the half. 24 points to 28 then. Lancashire ahead in this first Origin. I'm enjoying this, Phil and Steve-O. It's a terrific advert, isn't it, for the game, this?
Some pretty good players out there on display, and they're giving it the best, yeah. Pretty good entertainment so far.
And, well, when we went down to Phil a couple of times during that first half, you had a bit of a frown on your face, I think, but you're smiling now.
Well, it wasn't the best start, was it? We gifted the Yorkshire side far too much possession, and they showed just what quality they had. They took their opportunities early on, and the possession they were given, they turned into points.
Steve-O is there, of course, with the white rose, and you've heard his terribly biased commentary during the first half. Everything that Lancashire did was a knock-on or a high tackle, and Yorkshire, they're perfect, aren't they?
No, they're not really perfect. They got off to a flying start, didn't they? And to be fair to them, it was brought about by too many mistakes. The intensity was missing, and it was because of the fact far too many drop balls, far too many situations, and this was one of the mistakes that came. Joint, knock-on, and resulting play, they scored the try. And to be fair, Yorkshire were playing exceptionally well. They were turning in the tackle, and you'll see McDermott. Now, his opposite was trying to put a bigger hit on there, and Fielden came through for a simple try. We all knew it was a toss that was going to be vital to win because of the sun, and poor old Peters, well, he made a real meal of this. It popped straight up for Tony Smith. He loves nothing better than to poach a try like that. And as far as I'm concerned, it looked as though Yorkshire were going to run away with it, Clarkie.
Yeah, but Lancashire hit back, and they hit back well, didn't they? Terry O'Connor taking it up and offloading in the tackle. Chris Redlinski did so well to pick it up. But it's this run on the inside pass here from Andy Farrell. Paul Johnson, who I think has been very impressive tonight, bounced through a couple of tackles, then came to the fullback, looked left, looked right, and offloaded to the ever-supportive Redlinski. Soft pass over the top, beautifully taken by Deacon, and Lancashire were back in the game.
Well, a bit of fluke as far as I was concerned, but this was beautiful work from Danny Orr. Good step, stood up Sculthorpe. Maybe a bit of a doubt about the pass, but Senior wasn't complaining.
Yep, and we'd certainly give you that chance, but high kick here from Deacon, who's been busily involved. Well, we get maybe a little bit of luck here going our way. We needed that. Taps it back, did well. Came off Welland's legs, and Deacon, who put the kick up, used pretty good energy and enthusiasm to follow through the chase. And then here's the Redlinski try. Smith coming in too fast on Farrell. Beautiful ball here. Watch what Kevin Sinfield does. He's aware of where the man is, flicks it out the back to Turley. Good step, draws the man, and who's there once again? Chris Redlinski, one of the best supporting players in the game, to round it under the posts. And by this time then, Lancashire are starting to get their act together. Just following on from this, beautiful cutout pass from Paul Sculthorpe. Johnson hits that hole, comes inside his opposite Chev Walker, and Sculthorpe takes the ball back inside. Lancashire, well, starting to run away with things at this stage, and I think then the best trust. 11 passes, watch here, 4 crucial offloads in this passage of play, and that's what made Yorkshire impossible to defend against this. They keep the ball alive, players getting back behind the ball, making themselves available to support, flicking it out the back there, McDermott, and then again on out wide to Johnson, who knows if he can keep it alive, opportunities will come. And eventually, some beautiful footwork there from Neil Turley to score a well-deserved try on his debut.
Well, it needed something spectacular. That certainly was for Lancashire, but this was a captain's knock, wasn't it? He knows how important it is to score a try just before the half-time break. But the big talking point, as Eddie mentioned as we came off, was this handoff here from Danny Orr. And I don't think that was intentional. It looked as though it was an accident, but you could see fair and square on the jaw of Sculthorpe. It could be costly. They certainly will not have him in the second half. It's pointless to risk him, but he didn't look too bad. It didn't look too good, should I say, when we saw the replay there.
Well, if you remember, it was in the Challenge Cup against Wigan that Paul Sculthorpe broke his jaw. And with all their problems with Tommy Martin and Sean Long out, that's the last thing that St Helens want, if it is a broken jaw, and we haven't had any confirmation of that yet. Let's keep our fingers crossed that that's not the case.
Certainly, yeah, for Paul and the St Helens club, but more importantly now, I think it's how the second half goes. Paul may not be able to come back on, and it's up to the rest of the Lancashire lads to really just go on with it now. Game so evenly balanced here now at half-time, 28-24, but I think Lancashire have shown they have the superior skills.
Well, obviously you can tell who these two are supporting, one with the red rose, one with the white rose on their lapel. Steve Rose has got just a touch of green fly on it at the moment, but who knows? At the end of the day, it might well be Yorkshire's evening here in the Origin. Nods on one side, shakes of the head on the other. It's all about local pride, it's all about inter-county rivalry. We've got that here in the studio. Boy, we've got that out there on the field. Lancashire, well, they looked as though they were going to be overrun, but they came back and they lead at the break.
Live at 10:30 tonight, the ladies' final of the French Open. The clay courts of Roland Garros providing the most testing Grand Slam title of all. Live, the French Open ladies' final. 10:30 tonight, Fox Sports.
For the very first time in Australia, the biggest names in world combat go head-to-head, fist-to-head and foot-to-head. K1 Corp and Tarek Solak present the K1 World GP. Saturday, June 16 at Vodafone Arena. Current K1 World Champion Ernesto Hoost fights 7 other opponents until one man standing. Check out Croatian K1 star Mirko Krokop and the best Greek heavyweight in the world, Paris Vasilikos. Watch K1 Gladiators fight live in this $2.5 million Battle Arena Spectacular. Tickets from Ticketek on 13/28/49.
The man, Mundine.
He's got power and he's got speed. I reckon I'm right about this guy, mate. He's something else. The punching power of Mundine's too strong. That was one of the best KOs I've ever seen.
The man, the real thing, takes on Mike McCarter on the Mundine mission.
I want a world title shot and hopefully by the end of the year.
Contact your favourite hotel and club to confirm they're showing the fight. Mundine McCarter, Monday, June 18th, live in selected Fox Sports hotels and clubs. Next weekend on Fox Sports. From Saturday, catch the thrilling second round of the US Open live. Then rugby union action with Queensland v the British and Irish Lions and New Zealand versus Samoa live. There's a double-header NRL meeting between the Warriors and West Tigers, plus the Raiders and the Sharks live. On Sunday, live NRL continues when the Storm faces the Dragons. And finally, the World Motorcycle Championships, the Spanish Grand Prix exclusively live. That's next weekend on Fox Sports.
Half-time here in our Origin game, Yorkshire 24, Lancashire 28. Let's take a look at some of the stats, and they were making alarming reading for Lancashire early on. They're still doing the majority of the tackling, but missed tackles as well. That count is totting up. They've had 14 times in possession. Lancashire held on to it for 9 full sets. Paul Sculthorpe with Terry O'Connor leading the way in the tackling for Lancashire. James Lowe's, Lee Gilmore there for Yorkshire. The breaks from Tony Smith and Paul Johnson, and offloads Paul Johnson and Big Brian McDermott. Lee Crooks, the Yorkshire coach, doesn't look terribly happy, does he? And why should he when his side are 4 points adrift? But the one thing he will be happy with is that the sun has dipped now behind the trees and the houses on the left-hand side of Headingley. And so Lancashire will not be in any position to hoist the high bombs as Yorkshire did early on and hope that they would get a mistake. We're underway, second half, and here is Barry McDermott, who gets to his feet and plays the ball to Newton. He finds Farrell. Farrell drives it forward again, but that's good tackling by Lee Gilmore. Newton once more down the short side. Joint.
Well, as you mentioned, Eddie, the fact that the sun has dipped down and Yorkshire coach Lee Crooks realises that he really should have had the advantage rather than Lancashire going at the break with a 4-point lead, and that's a lovely kick. Just too long in the end.
Yes, David Hodgson watched the ball run over the dead ball line. Well, talking of the coaches, let's see what was said. Indeed, let's get the injury news, which is vital injury news from the sideline. Bill Arthur with all the details.
Yorkshire and Lancashire coaches both pretty happy. Lancashire coach Andy Gregory identifying that the side didn't start well, but very happy with the way they progressed, the way they settled to their game, and he's looking for them to maintain the impetus they generated towards the end of that first half and stop presenting Yorkshire with the chances, because Andy Gregory feels that Yorkshire haven't so much created the opportunities. They've been handed them on a plate by his side at times, so Lancashire looking to cut out the errors. The injury news on the Lancashire front is that Dominic Peters has trapped a nerve in his arm. That seems to have eased a bit. He should be able to come back. And Lee Breers is also out. He's damaged a nerve in his thumb. He will not be coming out. And Lee Crooks, the Yorkshire coach, will not be pretty pleased to see his side coming up with an error so early in the play, because that was the downfall in the first half. Looking for Yorkshire to really try and generate the sort of momentum that they set to this game with, and to tighten up their defence, which seemed to slacken off towards the end of that first half. The injury news from Yorkshire is that Danny Orr has jarred his shoulder, and he's unlikely to come back. But none of these injuries seem too serious, and they are being cautious with respect to the various clubs' commitments.
Fair enough, that's the way they should be. We'll do our best to bring you news of Paul Sculthorpe, though. I'm sure Bill's tracking that. This is Andy Farrell in the dressing room. The coaching staff obviously cautious with respect to the clubs involved. High kick over the top, straight down the throat of David Hodgson.
The most important factor for all these players out on the park is to ensure that they don't ease off, because that is when you're liable to pick up an injury. You really have got to give it your 100%. You can't afford to do that. The times that I've seen it in the past where people take it steady, take it easy, guaranteed will come up with a serious knock.
Well, back to Bill quickly. Here's the news on Paul Sculthorpe.
Yeah, word just come out from the Lancashire dressing room that Sculthorpe has got a cut inside his mouth, and he's just having a few stitches inserted there. You did mention the broken jaw at the end of the first half. Well, thankfully it's no recurrence of that sort of problem. It's just a cut.
Well, that is great news for St Helens, and great news for Paul Sculthorpe. I bet Ian Millwood, Steve, had the prayer mat out during half-time.
Yeah, well, we said as we were walking back to the gantry that let's hope that it was just a cut, or maybe he'd lost a couple of teeth. I mean, he can go to, he can pick up a new set, can't he, on Monday? You can't do that with a broken jaw, so that is wonderful news.
Great news indeed. Here now is Chris Joint, his St Helens captain.
Not that I'm sure that Paul Sculthorpe wants to lose any teeth, but if he had a choice, it would have been the toothy pegs, I think. Oh, that was high. Got away with it.
And they keep the movement going. Lancashire Sinfield managed to get the ball away to Paul Wellens. But Hodgson was there, and so too Keith Senior. Terry Newton, the dummy half. Paul Deacon, and here now is Farrell. Farrell taking them on up the middle, but Yorkshire standing firm. That's the last tackle. Quick play the ball there from Lancashire. It's with Deacon. A bounce back off Yorkshire back, so Lowe's has it. They've got a golden opportunity here.
He's overrun them, the support's overrun them, but he might not need them. Well, Shed Walker went in front, they couldn't offer a forward pass.
He's got bags of tackles, of course. It's 6 to go for Yorkshire, and this is Peacock. Gary Connolly calling for reinforcements down the left-hand side for Lancashire. That's when it's coming here with Tony Smith. He gets it away to Fielden, and Fielden is hauled to the ground. Cardis to Brian McDermott. Been hunting a try for himself tonight as Brian McDermott.
Tony Smith screaming for the football. This will go out wide, surely.
It whizzed, but it went behind Smith. Found Lowe's on the bounce. Lost a bit of ground there, but that's a great run from the Yorkshire skipper. That's the last, though. Scurrying into dummy half goes Paul King of Hull, and he finds Tony Smith of Hull. And the kick all along the deck to Sinfield. He's given it to Newton, and Newton, well, Hodgson's quick, and Hodgson got back to him.
What skill, though, from Sinfield. Not only did he just pick up the kick, he got to his feet and offloaded to Newton.
Johnson's having a great game, and he offloads to Chris Joint. Great tackle back by Jamie Peacock. Lancashire have switched from defence to attack. They're now 30 metres away from the Yorkshire line with Connolly, and Connolly offloads. Farrell will pick up the loose ball. Went backwards. It's with Radlinski. Here is Deacon. And Deacon saw a little gap, but which quickly closed by his Bradford teammates of McDermott and Fielden. Dummy half there was Coley. Farrell to slide the kick through behind Leon Price. Price does well. Does really well, Leon Price. Makes 10 very good metres.
Excellent play there. Not only did he read the kick, but he had the ability to step and glide himself into the infield. Oh, beautiful play.
Yorkshire giving the ball some air in their own quarter. This is Francis Maloney.
Here we go.
And the scores, of course, are so tight, 24-28, anything could happen. Penalty here to Yorkshire for stealing the ball in a two-man tackle on Stuart Fielden. So tight, it could go to a draw at the end of 80 minutes. If it does, we then go searching the golden point.
Well, you could see there that O'Connor has peeled away, but the rule states if you're virtually hanging on to your own player at the time when they're making the attempt, that's the penalty. He's gone to Yorkshire. Let's say Robert Connolly. I don't think he was, I've seen him referee as well for many a day.
Francis Cummings comes on. Yes, Robert Connolly having a great game as the Origin referee here tonight. Francis Cummings on for Chev Walker. That's a Leeds man for a Leeds man. And the penalty count, well, it's low, isn't it? 2-0, and they've both gone Yorkshire's way. And one was the kick-off on the full from Andy Farrell. So, and the other one was just the penalty you've seen there for a stealing offence in the tackle. So none of the biff bang wallop that we expected yet.
Another good run there from Lowe's. He's getting back into the swing of things. They needed it.
So Yorkshire.
Remember, it was Lowe's that put the kick in just before half-time, come up with that vital try. They needed it.
Little dart there, it's back, and McDermott switches the direction of this attack with Lowe's. Lowe's prepared to take them on himself. He's got Francis Maloney as his dummy half. Tony Smith. Short ball from Tony Smith to Fielden. He's held up over the line. Was on the last tackle that.
He went for the power play.
On the last tackle, so it's the turnover. Lancashire will get the possession.
Great defence there. It was a beautiful little delayed pass.
Had that been earlier on in the tackle count, it would have been head and feet at the scrum to Yorkshire. As it is, it was last tackle, and Lancashire get rewarded for the defence.
Well, it was a gamble that they took. They run the power play, and it was an excellent offload from Tony Smith. He just hesitated and then threw the dummy, and then the big fella came through. But Lancashire's defence has really improved. The first 15 minutes of this game, they were all at sea, but they've sorted that out.
Joint tangling with the senior and Gilmore. Here is Farrell. Farrell takes three to bring him down. Cummings, Maloney, and also the number 16, Paul King. Nice little flick pass out the back door. Lancashire keeping this ball alive now. Radlinski taking on Tony Smith. Reinforcements arrive in the shape of Fielden. That's the last tackle. Deacon gets the kick in. That's going to be too deep. That will skip away.
Under a lot of pressure. Much better there from Yorkshire in their defensive effort. They applied the pressure throughout the full set of six from Lancashire. Paul Deacon trying to control things out there. Wasn't even on the bench, of course, for last Saturday's game against St Helens.
Conference between Lee Crooks and Peter Rowe.
Well, I'm sure that Lee Crooks will be trying to get the message out. So look, we were so adventurous in the opening 20, twisting and turning in the tackle. Maybe we should react and get back to the swing of things by doing that.
Gilmore wasn't happy with the challenge on him then by Tim Yonkers, but that's a great run from Peacock.
Well, they'll make your yards, will this Yorkshire pack, that's for sure.
Here goes Fielden.
But they need a little bit more finesse.
And Lowe's, well, that should have been a penalty. Lowe's is trying to scrag Sinfield out of the way. Not allowed to do that. This is Wellens.
To be fair, Sinfield wasn't making much effort either. Once you've completed the tackle, you've got to roll away from the area.
I thought it was one of the 7 deadly sins, or however many sins we've got these days. You don't push or shove in the ruck. Anyway.
What about the rolling away?
You're really taking this White Rose business to heart, aren't you?
Well, it's obviously you've thrown Cheshire out of your heart.
Not at all. I am the neutral. Let's hear from the Red Rose County, and Phil Clark is there.
Well, after a free-scoring first half, it seems as though both sides have focused more of their efforts on defence, trying to get a good kick and chase and play a better field position. They've both simplified the way that they're playing, and less offloads, less movement of the ball, but fantastic chase there from skipper Andy Farrell. Worked hard to track down Dalcardis. Now Lancashire trying to assert some pressure on the Yorkshire side deep in their own half.
Yorkshire in possession here with Francis Cummins.
Not many opportunities for Dalcardis, actually. He's had a lot of work to do in defence, but really he was selected for his super speed and his ability to time in the three-quarter line. It's not been forthcoming tonight. Maybe he may come into the game as the legs get a little bit more tired, especially in the forwards.
Well, that's why he got the nod. The fact that he is so good at carting the ball back. Connolly had a very difficult ball to claim then, and Sini was all round him. Wellens to Radlinski. Further wide. It goes to Turley. Whoa!
Good defence.
Welcome to the big time.
He enjoyed that, Lee Gilmore. It's getting tasty yet again.
Guys, come on, make the effort.
A few crunchy tackles. Gets things a little bit warmed up.
Well, it's starting to get warmed up because players may be getting tired, but the forwards really are taking it to each other, aren't they? That's the last tackle.
Well, I mentioned the fact that there wasn't a great deal of intensity in that first opening 20 minutes, which you would expect. But
lovely dink from Farrell, and well swept up by Tony Smith.
Well, he went backwards, he lost it slightly, but that's okay. He regathered, didn't go forward. But the intensity has come back mainly because of the fact that they're holding on to the ball for the sets of 6. They're building and building.
The score is as it was at half-time, 28-24. Another change by Lee Crooks. Lowe's at dummy half. Tony Smith. Wide to Maloney. He then brings King into it. No, he doesn't. I beg your pardon. That's Radford. And both counties have had 8 of their 12 substitutions. Smith with a cross-field kick. But it was touched in flight. And so Radlinski can bring it back for Lancashire. Trying to go round Cummins, but that's good chase back by Cummins and Leon Price.
More importantly, the fact that Lancashire player did touch it, that meant that everyone was onside. So the guys who had run in front of the kicker, they could involve themselves in the defensive quality.
O'Connor with the drive forward for Lancashire. Lowe's is there, and so too was Radford. Here's Cunningham. Now it's with Farrell. Farrell flicked it away. Oh.
Back to 6. That was knocked down.
No, he's carried on the tackle count. And Yonkers claimed that between his knees. Deacon! Terrific little run. Wide it goes. Forward pass.
He took the wrong option. He had 2 inside him.
Well, the Lancashire supporters are cheering as Sinfield touches down, but it was a forward pass from Deacon.
Well, it was a beautiful run, wasn't it? Skipped underneath 2 would-be tacklers. And you can see that he has 2 on the inside, opts to get the ball pretty close to the momentum rule, but Deacon stopped slightly. And I think you'd have to say the way that Wellens had to reach forward. That certainly convinced Robert Connolly, the Merry whistleblower. Opportunity missed.
Well, we've had 15 scoreless minutes in the second half compared to what we saw, the free-flowing, free-scoring stuff in the opening 40. tries in the first half, 15 minutes. We haven't had one yet second. Lowe's the dummy half. Here goes King.
Here we go. Fast.
He gets to his feet. Lowe's. McDermott.
Must also take into account that he was quite warm for that first half. The sun was quite strong, and there's a lot of running back in defensive quality. The second phase, so much action, so much ball carrying, and keeping it alive will take its toll.
And it's absolutely flat as a pancake in terms of possession in the second half. And Yorkshire, good linking here. Great support from Maloney. He gets away from one, but Radlinski was there.
All it needed was someone of support there.
This is Gilmore on the last. Yorkshire running it. Oh, they've given it away. Given it away, and Terry Newton dropped on it gratefully for Lancashire.
Just couldn't pull it in. Lee Radford, the big second rower. Gilmore's had a fine game, stepping through and offloading. Just had to reach back there, did Radford.
3 power plays. That's running the ball on the last tackle by Yorkshire. Haven't seen Lancashire use that tactic yet. And Cunningham does well to get the ball away to Newton. Newton, then on it goes to Joint. Joint wide, but there's nowhere there for Turley to go.
You could see there from the wide shot how solid that Yorkshire defence was. The first forward in and around play the ball, they're moving up.
Good strong run there from Terry O'Connor, but it's good defence on show here from Yorkshire. This is the last. And Farrell kicking from no more than 25 metres from his own line. Hodgson picks it up on the bounce. Now they can close in. Deacon's first there. Has to give him 10 metres grace. The man who caught the kick downfield, David Hodgson.
Good call again from the referee, Connolly.
Here goes Cardis. Now then, chance for Cardis to show his paces.
Good work from Wellens there. Always lost it. Will this be play on?
To knock on, it went forward anyway. McDermott got to it before Yonkers.
The ball squirted out.
It's the first time we've seen Cardis in full flight. But you can see how Wellens made sure that he went on the outside. And that allowed just enough time there for Gary Connolly to join in. So the referee did go forward. He's got it right.
Edge him, boys. Still outside.
Deacon feeds the scrum and gives it to Sinfield. A double over the top to Radlinski.
I think he's offside.
Radlinski onside or offside?
I think it was offside. He was in front of the kicker. And again. Well, I must say, I'll be having nightmares tonight. I've praised Robert Connolly non-stop. And you can see from the replay that
he was onside.
Oh, I think it was offside. His foot was in front.
Yes.
Well, it takes a toe.
Of course.
A red toe.
Of course. King again with the charge forward for Yorkshire. Lowe's. Tony Smith worked hard. So has Fielden. Yonkers got to him.
Fielden really has worked hard. He's taken up the hard metres forward.
Brian McDermott, Keith Senior. He's escaped the clutches of Connolly. He's away from Deacon.
What a tackle.
Super tackle from Radlinski.
Only Radlinski could have pulled off a tackle like that on the big fella Senior.
Chances here though for Yorkshire. Cardis almost underneath Joint. He nearly got away, but then Barry McDermott came over. Last tackle here for Yorkshire. A dab through again by Lowe's. Too deep. Well, Radlinski there with a little bit of blood on the forehead. What a flying tackle it was. What a try-saving tackle it was.
Talk about putting your body on the line. Senior obviously thought, I'll get rid of this boy. Boom! That was absolutely sensational.
Well, we will see Chris Radlinski up against Keith Senior on Friday, because we will be back here on Sky Sports for Leeds against Wigan. Good defence on show here from Yorkshire.
They've upped the tempo, haven't they? They realise it as well. They're putting their bodies on the line now. Oh, wonderful effort. He's worked hard as Radford.
Was Kieran Cunningham a little hard done by then? Did he release the ball before he was forced over the touchline? I pose the question as a neutral.
Is your middle name Petty?
Phil Clark was right on top of that incident over there. It was right in front of him, Phil.
Oh, you won't get it right from him, surely.
Lancashire hard done by.
Very hard, and Kieran Cunningham had a point too. I know the touch judge has a tough job to do. Body's coming at him at a pretty fast pace, but he didn't see the ball slipped inside from Cunningham. He knew the sideline was coming, offloaded. It's just given a breather to both sets of players. He's offloaded well before he hits the line, turns the ball back inside. He's then dragged out of play.
Well, how much of the body has to get beyond the line or over it?
Listen, I'll come up there and throw you off that gantry if you don't shut up.
You're not big enough.
Hard back Clarkie. Leeds Wigan, Friday at 8. We're all back here again on Sky Sports 1. What a weekend we've got for you. Castleford Hull, Saturday at 6, over on Sky Sports 2. And stay on Sky Sports 2, Sunday morning at 10:30 for State of Origin, Aussie style.
Oh, that was a big hit there from Sinfield. Oh, it's getting all big tasty now.
Yes, Fielden was looking at Mr. Sinfield then.
Not looking, he went walking.
Well, if you and Clarkie are starting to fight...
I know I'm all right. Clark is too pretty. He doesn't want to lose those looks, I can assure you. He even takes a lot of care walking down the steps.
Loves is the dummy half. And Maloney will hoist the bomb.
It's a good one too.
Sir Cracker, Radlinski. Whoa, what a take.
You'd put your house on him, wouldn't you? He's had a fine game. 3 against 1. Golden hands just plucked the ball out of the air.
Well, these players all having to back up at the weekend, so the clubs will be anxiously waiting for injury news. It's coming in from Bill.
The latest casualty, although I'm not so sure how serious it is Tony Smith of Hull, who's just been replaced. He seemed to be pointing to his back. He did take a big knock earlier on.
Look at Cunningham. He just couldn't get the pass away. Terrific run and a great chase back. And it was by Cardis. Connolly and Lancashire trying to spin the ball wide now the other side. Picked up on the bounce by Chris Joynt.
Beautiful play from Cunningham. But equal to the task. Cardis, that's Lowe's that's down in the back play.
Yes, he's up the other end of the field. This is the last tackle. It's a high kick out wide. Looking for Wellens. Wellens claims it. He gets away from Hodgson. They must be in. Yonkers couldn't get the ball away. Terrific ball and all tackle from David Hodgson.
Super play there, Hodgson. That had try written all over it. The kick was high and superb. Wellens takes it. Hodgson misses him, but he came back and made sure that he prevented the try.
You're in.
Well, that's the first real sprint we've seen from Kieran Cunningham.
Here's Leon Price. Now then, man of the match. You can have a vote today on who's going to go home with the Roy Powell medal. That's what is on offer to the man of the match. And you don't have to agree with Phil Clark and Steve-O tonight, but the two managers, John Wilkinson and David Topless, and also the Great Britain coach David Waite. If you've seen an outstanding performance on either side, ring those phone numbers now. You're looking for the man who'll go home with the Roy Powell medal and also, of course, the watch. And you could be off to the grand final on the 13th of October. Here goes Radlinski.
So vital to any team. But Radlinski's ability to cart the ball forward gives you the momentum.
Lancashire now trying to run this Yorkshire side off their feet. Johnson. Oh, what a great little tap there from Cardis.
That'll be a penalty.
Yes.
It was a try saver though.
Turley was hunting his second try. He would have been under the sticks.
Well, they really have worked well together, haven't they, since Turley came in off the bench. Paul Johnson having a wow of a game.
And it was Francis Cummins who was stood in front.
And he took the gamble, took the odds. Can't hang around. Francis Cummins didn't have time to call a board meeting. Well done from the fullback, Cardis.
Lancashire have decided here to take the 2 points on offer, just to increase the lead to 6 points.
That's a good choice as well. Well, the big fella, he knows that Yorkshire have been on a bit of a roll there, even though another break from Paul Johnson, who has certainly impressed me, and the combination, ever since the time that Turley came off the bench, they have just fitted in as though they played together for years. Good for the future.
Andy Gregory, Mike Ford, Lancashire coaching duo. And Andy Farrell, the Lancashire skipper, to increase the lead if he kicks this, which he does. 24 points to 30. First points of the second half. They're the boot of the Lancashire skipper.
Well, it's 2 points, but Lancashire realised that it could very well have been 6. And Lee Crooks realises that it was only the left hand of Darryl Cardis that kept Yorkshire back in this game. Still not over yet, of course. Still a long way to go. But it really has stepped up in tempo. Been some big hits out there.
And Andy Farrell winding up his players with big effort in the last quarter of an hour. McDermott dragging 3 about 5, 6, 7 metres towards their own line.
That's a way to run. And again, interference at the play of the ball, a 50-50 decision. And Robert Connolly says, get on with it. We're here to entertain, and boy, oh boy, they've done that tonight.
Now Farrell again. Little pass to Kevin Sinfield. Good defence from Yorkshire. Farrell with the dink over the top. Darryl Cardis of Halifax Blue Sox picks it up. Wellens gets to him.
Great kick and chase. Percentage, that is what's coming from Lancashire at the moment.
David Hodgson. And away goes Paul King again. He's had a highly impressive season, King, for Hull. James Lowe, as you might have noticed, off, and Bill has news on him.
And that'll be a worry for the watching Carl Harrison, the Bradford Bulls assistant coach, but I think I can put his mind at rest. It's just a dead leg for James Lowe, and again, the coaching staff of Lancashire not wanting to take any risks.
Well, that's good, isn't it? That really is good, that the coaches of Lancashire, and here we go, coaches of Lancashire and Yorkshire are respecting the Super League commitments that lie ahead for these stars. That's a nice little dink, and it's bounced perfectly. And the support from Anderson.
Oh, trying to get it away. What a great tackle from Radlinski yet again.
And went backwards at 6 to go. It came off Radlinski.
Even so, he saved a try for sure.
Well, are Yorkshire in or not? Chev Walker. Lancashire now, all hands on deck. Roared on by this Headingley crowd. Brian McDermott drives in. And Anderson was tackled without the ball then. King again, dummy half, gives it with Leon Price. Desperate to make a name for himself, Price. Over the top it goes to Fielden. Fielden taking on his teammate Deacon.
Solid
right
defense.
In the corner. Senior spins it. Maloney on the loop. Comes back this way, there's Cardis.
They're digging deep, Lancashire. Scrambling back very quickly.
Fielden fancies his own chances, and he's just held up short of the line. O'Connor and Connolly. Senior. Back it goes to Maloney. A dab through towards the post, and that is too deep.
Not only too deep, but no one realised what was happening. He was thinking, the rest were having a sleep. Needs a chip over the top, or maybe a step there from Joint. But look at this tackle. Bang! He knew that he couldn't go low, it had to be a ball and all, and that prevented the try. They were in for sure, Yorkshire.
As it is, Lancashire's 6-point advantage is intact, and Andy Farrell is driving them forward again. Walker and Price just shy of the halfway line. Turley tackled by Price. Good stuff. Here's Sinfield, pops it back to Newton. Good defence now from Yorkshire, but he managed to offload that. And here is Cunningham. Wide it goes to Connolly. Warren's outside him. Connolly cutting in field. Great ball inside to to Yonkers, on it goes to Deacon. Scrambling defence from Cardis, and it's effective.
Super play from both sides. They're giving the crowd a treat.
Joint, short ball.
Big hit from Price.
And Johnson felt that.
Did he ever? Well, he would have been thinking, I didn't buy a ticket for that bus. That was a high one from Leon Price. Well, we spoke about maybe the lack of intensity in the first half. You can't say that about that. That was a bad one from Price. A lazy left arm. To his credit, he didn't swing it, but it was high. Tense times for Lee Crooks.
10 minutes to go. 6 points the difference between these two.
And look at Andy Farrell there. He's screaming at his charges.
Terry O'Connor needing some assistance as well. Well, the players, Steve, if you remember, before the start of this season, after the World Cup, said that we needed fixtures like this to get us up to the intensity that they have in Australia, bearing in mind that the Aussies are over here for the Ashes series in the autumn. And this second half has let nobody down, and the first half was highly entertaining.
Well, as I mentioned before, the reason why there was no intensity then in that first half, because there were far too many mistakes and far too many tries scored. Now we're getting back down to the Super League that we well know, and the big hits, and the intensity, but more importantly, you could see on the face of Andy Farrell there, come on, keep it up, they want to win. This is no stroll in the park.
Well, it isn't, and it's worth recalling that Lancashire's last win against Yorkshire in Yorkshire came in September 1966. The floodlights were switched on here at Headingley for the first time that night. And here they are back at Headingley, 35 years down the track, and are Lancashire on the verge of a victory in this first origin of the new era?
They haven't won it yet.
I said, are they on the verge?
The way you said it, reflection in your voice.
Hoof downfield, and Radlinski will allow that to go.
They've got to get outside. They've got to be outside.
You must live on the border, you know, between Lancashire and Cheshire, because you keep going from one side to another. You're a neutral, and then you become a Lancastrian.
09009 10 10 13 UK viewers, 15 15 92 35 56. Who's your man of the match? Who will go home tonight with the Roy Powell medal? Here is Barry McDermott. He offloads to Kieran Cunningham. Deacon, the ball was just dipping in front of Sinfield. It was dipping in front of Connolly, but he did well to hang on to that. And he had to take the tackle from Senior.
Super pair of hands there from Connolly. Been a big battle, hasn't it? Senior against Gary Connolly. But the man that really has impressed me tonight for Lancashire has been the other centre, Paul Johnson. He's had a wow of a night. So too the fullback Radlinski, but the way that Johnson has just creamed through this defence has been outstanding.
Lovely kick over the top. Oh, that bounces.
There's a gift.
A gift now for Johnson. Paul Johnson gets the gift. Yorkshire were gifted a try by Dom Peters first half, and they have returned the compliment here to Paul Johnson. That crowd's a fine individual display by Johnson, and it was Chev Walker, was it, who made the fumble.
Tit for tat, the kick from the skipper. They really had the opportunity, and I'm afraid he's come up with a real mistake there, Chev Walker. Had all the time in the world, put under pressure, and the man that I was just speaking about, Johnson, caps off a fine game.
Yes, Paul Johnson, the try scorer, and I know that many of you are ringing in for the man of the match vote, and you might well think that we are giving you a hint here as to who the man of the match might be. It isn't Steve-O, it's not Phil Clark tonight, it's the two managers, and it is the Great Britain coach, David Waite, who chooses the outstanding player.
Yeah, you're right, Eddie. It's got nothing to do with me tonight.
Those words will come back to haunt you one day. Farrell will add the extras. 26-24. And Lancashire are on the verge of that famous win.
Well, when it gets tense, it's amazing how a mistake can just turn the tide. And it was Chev Walker. He had all the time in the world to ensure he got that football. He juggled with it. Johnson scores, and the Lancashire captain, Andy Farrell. What a night he's had.
Right, let's go down to Phil. Phil, it looks like the champagne's on you tonight.
Yeah, it certainly does. Chev Walker's just come up with a mistake which has probably ended any chance for the Yorkshire side. Oh, I say that.
Sinfield has just gifted the ball back to Paul Anderson. Yorkshire are not done yet. Brian McDermott. Well, they've got to score here, you feel, Yorkshire, to give themselves realistic hope of getting back to the draw.
Well, they spilled the hot pot there, Eddie. There's a big chance now.
Here's Anderson again. They just didn't read Sinfield, slap back. King, dummy half. Oh, they put it down. Here goes Sinfield. He'll be a relieved young man.
Didn't expect that. Thought it was a dummy runner. And I'm afraid the chance is gone. I don't think you'll see much finesse now from Lancashire. I want to just control things and make sure that the kick and chase is good. Oh, he's lost it.
He did.
And either way, it was 1-on-1. If a fingertip was involved. Well, how many twists and turns has this left?
Great run from King. Lovely support from Senior. Great tackle from Connolly.
Had to be. There was no one there.
Knock on. Connolly against Senior. You'll be able to enjoy that battle again on Friday night when we're back here for Leeds Wigan. Senior with the mistake. Will he make amends for that on Friday night?
Good work, though, from Lee Radford. He's had a big game as well. But it was Gary Connolly that came away and bang. Senior just couldn't hold on to the football. Nervous times now.
Less than 4 minutes to go. Deacon to Radlinski. Cardis and Leon Price with the tackle. The Yorkshire defensive line sets itself again to defend this run from Farrell. Cunningham, the dummy half. Here's Andy Coley back out on the field again for the last 3.5. Cunningham, Terry O'Connor, Andy Farrell.
Well, Farrell would love nothing better than to make sure that they pile the points on. And he wants to make a substitute by the looks of things. He wants more points. He wants to rub it into the face of his opposite, Lee Crooks. I'm sure they've had a little bit of a side bet on a couple of beers. The loser pays.
3 minutes to go. Lancashire on the last tackle, this set of 6. Cunningham to his feet, plays the ball to Joint. And O'Connor, brought forward, drills the ball along the ground and finds touch just to eat the clock up a little more.
Well, that was a mistake there, and Chris Joint knows it. Andy Farrell was shouting for the football, and the prop forward, Terry O'Connor, says, don't worry, Faz, I'm not bad with the boot. And as it turned out, he wasn't. They've got to risk everything now, Yorkshire.
Cardis. Cummings, rather. And David Waite was just watching on. I'm sure that he has had his say as to who is the man of the match, and he will be well pleased, I think, with this first Origin match of the new era.
Well, I think the second half has shown that this is fair dinkum. Another mistake.
Went backwards. Play on.
Bit of luck going Yorkshire's way there, I felt.
Paul Anderson. Minute and a half remaining. Yorkshire on the last tackle here. Price. Still Leon Price. The little dab. Well, it was over the top and out on the full. So Lancashire will have maybe less use of the ball. Try and drive this advantage home a little further.
Not the best kick, it was on the last, so it's a turnover. And this is up jumper time. Forwards queuing up to take the ball, one would imagine. Disappointment for Lee.
Yes, looks like he's going to be on the losing side. In fact, I think we can say that with some certainty now. Here is Andy Coley.
No doubt you'll say it a few times before the end.
Cunningham and Joint.
It's been an accomplished performance though by Lancashire. They were hit very quickly with a barnstorming start by Yorkshire.
It's a shaky start by Lancashire, wasn't it?
But surely and confidently they built.
Sinfield's pass on the bounce to Farrell, and it comes wide to Paul Wellens. Connolly wanted the ball fed to him. Wellens trying to take on a tired defence. Can't get away from Senior.
Good effort there. Not done yet, Lancashire.
This is the last. Here's the kick from Farrell. It's an inviting kick as well, but Cardis reads the script. 8 seconds remaining. Win for Lancashire. First time in 35 years on this ground. There's the final siren. It's a win for Andy Gregory in Lancashire. A defeat for Lee Crooks. And Steve-O, in my book, the experiment well worthwhile.
Without doubt, especially in that second half. The intensity was building throughout it, and you could see the expression midway through that second stanza on the face of Andrew Farrell. They wanted to win and prove a point, and they certainly did that.
And Neil Turley has distinguished himself as well here tonight.
As he ever, once he came on, and the combination with Paul Johnson, one of the highlights of the game. And also the defensive quality of Chris Radlinski. 2 absolutely magnificent tackles in the second half. Prevented 2 tries for the White Rose. But full credit to those guys from over the Pennines. They fully deserved it in the end.
I bet that sticks in your throat. Well, we're just waiting now for the trophy presentations. And it's been a highly entertaining night here at Headingley. Yorkshire have gone down though by 24 points to 36 to Lancashire in this Origin match of 2001, and one of the Lancashire victorious side is Terry O'Connor, and here he is with Bill on the pitch.
Terry, there was some talk about players not taking this game seriously beforehand. That didn't look like the case tonight.
I think the only people who were saying that, Bill, was the press and people who weren't involved. Like, I know the Lancashire lads have been up for this since the team got announced. Everyone's come together. Don Peters has come up from London. People may not say it's from Lancashire, but he's done his job tonight. And the Yorkshire lads put in a big effort. And also all the fans, I think the fans will be glad to see this back next year, maybe 2 or 3 times next year, home and away next year.
And that game seemed to get more intense as it went on.
Yeah, that's it. Tough game, isn't it, Yorkshire, Lancashire. You don't get bigger by Great Britain or England, Ireland. But look forward to it. It was a good result for us. We haven't won it in 10 years, and speaking from Wigan's point of view, we look forward to come back here Friday night.
Thanks very much, Terry. Well done.
Cheers, Bill.
As we see Terry O'Connor and the Wigan boys up against Leeds in Super League when hostilities resume. But these supporters have enjoyed what they have seen, and there is the trophy that has the red ribbons adorning it, and it's the old War of the Roses trophy that Lancashire will take home tonight. And as I say, 35 years since they last won in Yorkshire. This is a sweet moment for them. And the crowd staying on to see the presentation. And the first presentation, I think, will be made to the man of the match. And it is Chris Radlinski, who will receive the Roy Powell Medal. Roy Powell, the former Leeds and Bradford stalwart who ended his career at Batley. 19 tests he played for his country, went on the 1988-1990 Lions tours. 4 Yorkshire appearances for Roy Powell, and his wife Helen and his son Lewis. They will present the Roy Powell Medal in memory of one of the great servants of this game, who is tragically no longer with us. And Chris Radlinski receives the Roy Powell Medal, the first ever recipient of that award. And there's Roy's son Lewis. great servant, Steve-O, to this game. And
He certainly was.
It's a wonderful gesture.
A wonderful accolade, and I can assure you that Chris Rudlinski will treasure that. Treasure the moment and the medal, of course.
Andrew Farrell now leads his men up to receive that trophy from Roger Millward and Alex Murphy.
Well, it's a moment that a few years ago he never thought would ever occur. The Lancashire players deservedly receiving their honour cap.
We'll hear from Andy Farrell in a moment, but Steve-O, Murphy and Millward, weren't they in the Great Britain side when you were making your debut? Weren't they the half-back combination?
Yeah, they certainly were. That gives you some indication how old I am. But it's a proud moment for those two guys as well. They were wonderful servants to our game of rugby league, and still are. Still love our game with the same enthusiasm that they certainly played it.
And Alex Murphy, a former Lancashire coach, of course, 85, 86 and 87. So a sweet moment for him as well. Andy Farrell's going to receive his cap and the trophy from Alex Murphy. And we'll hear from the Lancashire captain in a few moments' time. The old War of the Roses trophy. It's Origin 2001, and Lancashire are the winners. And the Origin series, which we hope it will be in the future, off to the very best possible start. An entertaining evening. Andy Farrell is down to make a speech to the crowd. We might not hear him. He's taking his place in the commemorative picture. One man who isn't in there is the man of the match. Chris Radlinski's with Bill. Chris.
There you go. There's another award to go with the Roy Powell award you picked up tonight, which must mean a lot.
Yeah, thanks to Tiso, obviously, and to be awarded the Roy Powell, tremendous ambassador for the game for his son. It's a nice touch.
Well, looking at the scar on your forehead, the blood on your nose, that was some game.
Yeah, it was everything we expected, really, wasn't it? The lads from both sides need a lot of credit going to them. They didn't hold back and they give a lot. They put a lot of effort in there, so it's good for the game, isn't it?
You'll be back here on Friday night for some more.
Yeah, I can't wait. 3 more days and we go again, so everybody's in the same boat, so we'll be all right.
Good on you, Chris. Well done.
It's Lancashire's night here in Yorkshire. They have won Origin 2001. And Kieran Cunningham with his county cap, and Terry O'Connor with the gleaming silver trophy.